4 size right now and get Turbo 10 with Shake Spring.
As people in Florida begin to return home, roads are reopening, some of them at least. A big question for many, though, is what's left at home? For victims of natural disasters, dealing with insurance is often a huge battle for them. Joining us now by phone is Florida attorney Scott Major. He's a disaster insurance expert. He's riding out the storm in Florida. So in the 24 hours since you and I last spoke, Scott, what have you learned about casualties and claims?
First, thanks for having me. There's a lot of initial repairs that are going to be done as a result of wind damage in South Florida. And then as you move up the coast, you're going to find much more damage in the way of water-related and actual substantial structural damage, as you saw from some of the photos that you so ably have been displaying amongst people.
Yeah, so this is mostly going to be claims for structural damage caused by the winds, as well as flood damage, water damage, and so forth, right?
That's correct, sir, yes.
And, I mean, give us an estimate based on history as to, what amount are we talking about here, do you think?
Billions. There'll be billions of, yes, because the amount of claims you're going to have associated with this, the sheer volume, is going to be not only on the residential side, on the commercial side. Some people are going to be out of power. Probably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people are going to be out of power for days, if not weeks, and oftentimes, in some cases, as much as a month before people are going to get back to work or get back to their ability on the resident side, and that's going to cause substantial losses that are typically covered by insurance.
And Scott, do most of the people there have flood insurance?
Yes. Florida is a very savvy state in encouraging a lot of people to get insurance, and for those people who fit in what's called a flood zone, which is a zone that's more capable of flood occurrences, you almost have mandatory insurance that you purchase for the flood section of it. That's different than your typical homeowner's insurance or business insurance.
Yeah, and those premiums for that mandatory flood insurance you're talking about are usually very high. Even still with high premiums, are the residents going to be made whole if they are going to collect from their insurance company?
The answer is you can be made whole. You have to understand that the critical skill set is going to be your ability to properly document your damages, contact your insurance company, provide estimates, and make sure that you stay on top of the insurance company to get them out to your facility and to advocate on your own behalf for your claims.
And there are different kinds of insurance policies, I would imagine. Some would include replacement value, but that doesn't necessarily mean putting it back the way it was.
That's correct. There are different types of insurance. There are some that are what's called replacement cost value, where they will fix and replace whatever the cost is. Others have what's called actual cash value policies, which is almost like a depreciated type of amount where they pay a portion of that depending on your policy, and it also depends upon exactly what kind of damages and where they're coming from. Roof damages, are going to be more readily apparent when you see somebody without a roof or no tiles on their roof versus somebody who's claiming they have some window damage to a door and you don't see the same kind of visible damage. Oftentimes you'll see a lot of times on windows, for example, where the window doesn't break, but the windows suffered a loss because the seals around the windows will be broken. Even though you don't realize, you see your window, it looks like the window's intact. A lot of times that takes engineering or other experts to come out and verify that claim in order for you to be successful. But I can't emphasize enough for those people who are involved in this that you must be vigilant. You must make sure you take loads of pictures and photographs. You must get expert estimates, and you must advocate strongly towards the insurance company to get your claim paid and to get the most amount of money.
Well, what if you did not take the photos before the storm hit?
If you didn't take the photos before the storm hit, you still have the ability to succeed. You need to take photos of the exterior and interior right after the storm. Make sure you take enough photos or videos so that it is absolutely clear. Then immediately get certified contractors or other people who are qualified to come out and do estimates. I recommend people getting at least 2 estimates, multiple estimates, so that it is clear to the insurance company, hey, I've had independent experts come out. They believe these are the damages. Here is the photographic support, so it is clear, and they're estimating these damages were directly caused by the hurricane, and therefore, or the storm, or the winds, or the flood, and therefore, we're urging you to have an adjuster come out immediately and to pay as soon as possible.
But see, that's exactly what you just said, Scott. You said that the insurance companies will determine if it was caused by the flood or the hurricane, the wind damage, and that's where they get you. That's where they get you.
That's correct. And how well you advocate and how successful you are in getting experts, whether they be in the form of estimates and things like that, and certified contractors, or whether they be in the form of hiring a lawyer who's got expertise in that area to make sure they advocate. You know, people don't understand that insurance companies don't fix property. They're in the business of paying money. That is, after they collect premiums, paying money, and you go and fix the property. So it's important for you to maximize your potential to leave the most money the fastest by advocating on your behalf, by getting, very good estimates that are detailed. Don't have your friend Fred come down the street and give you an estimate. You want to make sure you have qualified people.
Scott Major, thank you very much, insurance disaster expert. Appreciate your expertise. We're going to be right back with more of our live coverage of Hurricane Matthew.